Good. Hello, everybody. This is Tim W. Leathertachi, 1996, and welcome to episode 7 of Godzilla FX. And this week we have Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster from the year 1966. Now, little fun fact about this movie: this was originally supposed to be a King Kong movie. Yeah, King Kong with Mothra and the giant lobster known as Zebra. And the way that they kind of show that is because in the movie, well, I'll be getting to it, and I'll be getting to that fact in a little bit when he gets to the screenshot. When he gets to that screenshot, yeah. No, I can't believe this was originally supposed to be a Kong film. I think the reason why they scrapped Kong at the last minute and threw Godzilla in there is because the movie would make more money if Godzilla was in it. And I gotta say, I gotta give that a wise alteration. Now, this movie is like the Godzilla film for people and for Hawaiians because the music and the setting looks like I don't know. It has this go-go dancing music, and it just throughout this movie, and it just sounds so. It sounds Hawaiian. It sounds really Hawaiian to me. It just sounded really Hawaiian. Yeah, I gotta say, there's not much to talk. There's really not that much to talk about. I mean, there is some to talk about, but there's not really like that much because there really was not. There's some special effects in this movie that were really good, but there's not really like that many effects. There's really not because sorry, that was me that's me moving around, folks. Sorry. They're really the effects in this movie, like the whole setting is on an island, and here we have our first shot of Ebra, the giant lobster. Now, they never explain where this thing came from. It's just there. Excuse me. This monster is just there. Like, they don't ever say in the movie, or nobody ever finds out in the movie, whether this thing is mutated by radiation, or this is just a giant species of lobster. Nothing. This thing just shows up, and it's like, oh, okay, so there's a giant lobster out in the water. Okay. And this whole movie takes place on an island, like I think I said a couple minutes ago. Anyways, yeah, the island setting, I don't know, it's something different. It's not out in a city. So, and folks, we come to the point in the Godzilla franchise where we have no Ishiro Honda in the director's chair. We got no Ishiro Honda, no Akira Ifukube doing the music. It is just welcome to the era of Jun Fukuda, the director who has turned Godzilla into the sort of made for kids part, the made for kids thing. Why did they do this to the King of the Monsters? But anyways, starting with the Ebra suit. This suit, I love the detailing on the suit, actually. Like, I think they studied the anatomy of a lobster or picked one up from, like, a grocery store or like from a store or something and worked off of it. I don't know, like this. I really like the suit. It's super detailed, and his roar. It's not really a roar. It's more like a screech or something. The roar really fits him, or it. They don't even say what gender this thing is either. But it's like it's a really bulky lobster though. he's a really fat lobster. When lobsters, they're bulky, but they're not like thick. They're not thick like this guy. But he's just a really good execution. Like, there's really no what do you call? Well, actually, I know I really like this suit. It's really well detailed, and it has really well done execution. The only thing that I gotta say is it comes to my first special effects con, that there's a point when the giant claw on the left, like looking at this picture, it's the claw on the left there, when it destroys the boat, oh shoot, no, Hey Godzilla, sleeping Godzilla. He's asleep for like half the movie. Seriously, like 50 something minutes in, he wakes up, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But you can see the studio wires above Ebra's claw at one point, like when his claw first shows up in the movie, and you're looking like, what is that supposed to be? They look like studio wires, and it just looks like, should that be there? That's my first effects con, and I'll get to my second and last one here in a little bit. Then you have Godzilla. It's so funny if you didn't see his eye. Like, you see his eye, he looks like a pile of rocks. Like, he matches the mini set that he's sleeping on. And he looks like the Cookie Monster. Cinemasker is right. Godzilla looks like the Cookie Monster in this movie. And here he is. He's just snoozing. Like, literally, he's asleep for at least 50 something, like at least 50 minutes of the movie. And it's like, oh, that's where he went after he and Rodan tumbled down a cliff a year earlier. I did say 1960s. Yeah, the year of this movie is 1966. Yeah. I just want to make sure I got that. I just want to make sure I got the year right. So it's like, oh, this is where he went after getting knocked off a cliff with Rodan and Ghidorah 1 year prior to this. But overall, like, the whole setting of the movie is like, it looks so much better. It looks a little more modern than the last movie did, like the cinematography anyway. Well, focus on all these special effects, Wagner. Anyways, yeah, the suit looks really, the suit is like kind of a hit or miss. Like, half the time, not half, more like 88% of the time, it actually looks really good. And then there's like those few shots where it's like, oh god. And also, there was something I was talking about at the beginning of this, when I said Kong was supposed to be in this movie. The way that you can tell Kong was originally supposed to be in this movie, if you've really looked the movies up or paid attention to the movie so far, is that they wake Godzilla up with electricity. I mean, they find this sword, the human characters find this sword, and they use lightning to shock Godzilla using the sword as like a conductor, and with a wire tied to it from this terrorist base that's on the island building nuclear weapons. And they use the lightning to give Godzilla shock treatment and wake him up. Now, using electricity on the main character to get the main character back up, right? Sounds familiar? Yep, sounds like King Kong from 1962. But that was originally supposed to be Frankenstein in that movie, so wow. You go from Frankenstein to King Kong to Godzilla. This thing with electricity carries on with giant monsters. Like electricity making monsters stronger, tougher, or something. And then here here in this shot. Now, one thing, I actually managed to get good Blu-ray screenshots of this. So all the pictures are actually going to be presented in proper sequence here. Now, once again, I know in a lot of the reviews, I always love like the miniature sets when it comes to more environment shots where it's not a city. I really do love this set. They really put, the miniature sets, they put a lot of time and effort into. And the Godzilla suit, I love that he has more detail on him than he did in the movie prior to this. They went back and put a lot of detailing on the suit. And again, he has the very irregular scales, or if you can call them scale, the really tough skin. I really like that, and it's so funny. Like, they have the actor's name in the opening credits. They have Haru Nakajima in the opening credits of this movie, and yet it's like, where was he at? Well, you're looking at him right here. Once again, Godzilla is played by the great actor Haru Nakajima. Anyways, I always got to give the actor credit because he's awesome. He's so awesome playing as Godzilla. Like, he is the original Godzilla. Anyways, well, here, this is right, and this, like, I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see it, on top of Godzilla's head. There's, this is in the middle of a rainstorm, and this is where Godzilla goes to fight Ebra, and the fight with Godzilla and Ebra, like, it's a little fun, campy fight with the monsters punching each other and hitting each other with rocks. Speaking of rocks, there's this weird thing. Remember, I don't know if I mentioned this, but in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, I believe I did mention it, when Godzilla and Rodan were tossing a boulder back and forth at each other. Godzilla and Ebra do the same thing in this movie. I don't understand what is the whole point of that. And also, that brings me to my second and very last special effects con, is the boulder that they toss back and forth. It moves too, I don't know, it's just the way it moves is like, moves too conveniently towards each other when they toss it back and forth. Like, I don't know, it moves like, it looks too controlled when the boulder moves. Oh, and see, here you go, the Cookie Monster face. I mean, look at that face. Look at Godzilla's face. Oh my god. I'm sorry. That face. Anyways. Oh, and then there's... What was it? And, oh, another... Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry. Getting sidetracked. Sorry, and like, the boulder just moved a little too conveniently. I think it looked too controlled. Like, if they would have just done a couple of shots of them hitting the boulder, and it's like, it would have looked more free, I guess. It wouldn't look so I don't know, just that the boulder moving back and forth looked a little too controlled for the monsters. So, that's just me. And the other thing here, and then also, there's another Kong trait that Godzilla actually has in this movie, where the human girl character, played by Kumi Mizuno, who is actually, she's in a lot of these movies. She's in a lot of Godzilla films, actually. And Godzilla, like, saves her from this giant bird, Kondoru, as the thing's called. And it sucks I couldn't get a Blu-ray screenshot of that. But Godzilla fights this giant bird, and it's like, just this, I don't know, it's like this one random fight that happens in the movie, and Godzilla just shoots it with his atomic breath, and it just falls into the ocean. It's a very short fight, and it's like, wow, that's kind of random. But hey, the more monsters, the merrier, I say anyways. But, well, here we go, you have a good detail. Oh, also, back to what I was saying about the Kong trait. Kong, when he fights a giant bird, he, like, stares at Kumi Mizuno's character, Dio, for a good, like, 5 minutes. So, I don't know, I guess it's, like, the Kong trait of having an interest in a human woman. So it's like everything in the script, apparently, it's like, was supposed to be for Kong, they just had Godzilla do it. So, I don't know. I mean, here you get, like, I like the detailing in the face. He looks pissed. I mean, that's the crazy thing. He looks really pissed off. But he has a sleeping issue in this movie. Like, he goes to, like, after he looks at, has an interest in Dio for a second, for, like, a couple minutes, he starts falling asleep again. And then right after this actually comes to, like, the big, the second highlight, second to the, Godzilla and Ebra fight. You got the terrorist organization that's stationed on this island is called the Red Bamboo. It sounds very Chinese, even though this movie's from Japan. The Red Bamboo sounds very Chinese. Oh, here you go. This is when Godzilla looks up and he sees the giant bird and he just kicks its ass. And I really like the detailing on this suit, seriously. Like, the detail that they have is super good on the suit. Like, they went and they just put... I think this is the look that we will be seeing in a lot more of these films. This is either, like, the same look from the No, this ain't the same look from the movie prior to this. Never mind. Never mind. Anyway, sorry. Sorry about that. But it's like... What do you call? I don't know, this suit just has such good detailing on it. I really, really enjoy this. I really enjoy this suit. And Nakajima just, like, I don't know, he didn't really give Godzilla that much of a personality in this movie. It's like, he just wakes up, fights Ebra, fights the giant bird, and then just I guess it's just him acting normal. I guess this is just how he normally is when he doesn't have to deal with when he don't have to deal with any people. But sorry, I meant to get to like the second effects highlight. Like after he fights the giant bird, these jets come over and they start shooting at him. And I'm sorry, but they shoot at him to go-go music. You got go-go music playing for like a minute and a half, and then it stops. And it's just so funny. Like way back in the first movie, the jets were shooting at Godzilla, and Godzilla didn't do anything but get annoyed at him. This time he actually fights back. Like this time he actually fights back, and he grabs him, hits him with his tail, shoots him with his atomic breath. Like he really fights back against the jets. And it's like they have a heavy use of the color red in this movie. Like the explosions are all red, which is very interesting. Which is a very interesting color. Like interesting color to use. Because usually, like when they have real explosions, like the normal color of fire, which is like orange and some yellow. This time it's like deep red with the explosions. So yeah, there's really, like I said, the effects for Godzilla fighting the planes, it's really good. It's like one of those like, oh, there you go. That's what we know Godzilla for. But other than that, because the movie takes place on an island, there's not really that many effects to really talk about in this movie. There's really not. Like the miniature sets in this movie are really good, and the ending to this movie. When I get to the last screenshot, which is a good one, I will talk about. There's like 4 effects highlight. Well, there's mainly 3 effects highlights in this movie, like really big pros. Oh, here we go. This is towards the end of the movie, and this is so weird. Like Ebra holding the boat. There's just like this thing that the Red Bamboo does, where it's like they kidnap the natives of Infant Island to force them to make this yellow liquid stuff, which is made from this kind of fruit that's not ever explained where the fruit even comes from. But they make this, but they grind that fruit up into this juice, and I guess Ebra hates it, like it's a deterrent. When the Red Bamboo ship goes back and forth to Infant Island, it's like Ebra really hates the stuff. But then one of the human characters decides to make a big thing of phony, fake yellow liquid. Instead of the fruit, you use the leaves of the fruit. And Ebra realizes it's fake and just destroys the boat towards the end of the movie. And then right before that, he and Godzilla get into this big fight. And as one can tell by the poster, Mothra's in this movie, and she and Godzilla have this brief little fight where Mothra saves all the people on the island and just knocks Godzilla over, just so she can get she's trying to save herself and save all the humans at the same time. Again, like, it's just so, do lobsters have hair on them? You can see on Ebra's, where the chest is, there's hair on it. Do lobsters even have hair on them? Like, seriously, do they? It's just an interesting design choice. Yeah, like I said, not really that much to say here, because island settings, oh, and actually, right before this scene, this shot here, Godzilla destroys the Red Bamboo base, and it's like, it's a really good scene. You see, like, they shoot at him, and it's like they have the old cliche of, like, people shooting at Godzilla, but it's like, it's terrorists shooting at him, not the military, and he destroys a base, he destroys the terrorist base and not a city. So it's like, they take what you know and love about Godzilla in this movie, and they change it up and have something a little different. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then right after this, I can't believe I could not get a screenshot of this. This is like Godzilla's second, not his oh my god moment, but you look at his body and he's like, can he really do this? After Godzilla fights Ebra, and he doesn't kill him, like Ebra doesn't die, he just rips his claws off. Like, seriously, Ebra does not really die, per se. He actually does not die in this movie. Like how in the last movie, Ghidorah didn't die, he just flew away. And here we go, here's Mothra. And it's just so funny. Half this movie, it's like Mothra doesn't, like, she makes these small appearances throughout the movie, like when the twin fairies and the natives of Infant Island here, they do their ceremonial dance, worshiping Mothra, but she's asleep for like 90%, for like 97% of the movie, she's asleep. Then she finally wakes up at the end to save everybody, to save all the humans on the other island, and fight Godzilla for a little bit. Like, seriously, both Godzilla and Mothra are like, they're asleep. they sleep for most of the movie, and then they wake up, and then everything goes. Then the whole rest of the movie just plays off. Now, it's just so interesting. Like, I love the very mountainous matte painting they have in the background for Mothra, and then you got the little miniature set that the puppet's sitting on. Now, it's just so funny. That's like, in the last 2 years, apparently, that last the Mothra larva from Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster became an adult at one point. So, and Mothra really doesn't have any, like, in this movie, she don't really have no ability. She just comes in, she just flies in, picks the humans up, and knocks Godzilla over with one of her wings. It's like a really brief little fight, really. And then, at the very end of this movie, not Infant Island here in this shot, the island that the movie really takes place on, it blows up in this nuclear explosion. Like, the Red Bamboo have this island self-destruct sequence, this timer at the end that one of the scientists, the terrorist scientists, like, sets, and the island just blows up. And the effect for the island blowing up is really good. Like, that's the third special effects highlight, is the island blowing up. I mean, you just see all these, it's like early Michael Bay. It's like a Michael Bay type explosion scene, really, like 1966 Michael Bay. And then right before that, and what I mean by Godzilla getting like goofy is the humans actually tell Godzilla, run away or you'll be blown up. And apparently Godzilla hears this and he jumps off a cliff and into the water. It's like, really? Godzilla can jump now? Really? He can jump? It so sucks. I could not get a Blu-ray screenshot of that. I wish I could. I so wish I could have shown that. Him jumping into the water. It's a good little, like, few seconds, but when you look at it, it's like, really? Godzilla can do that now? And then here's, like, the final fight between Godzilla and Ebra. And this is, like, wallpaper worthy right here. To me, when you have Godzilla fighting the main monster, the main opponent, it's like you can have this as a, like the third time now, jeez. You have this like as a wallpaper on your laptop, or if you have a Hisense TV like my parents do in the living room here, you can have that as a wallpaper for the TV. And the one thing I really love about the Ebra is, like, remember how I mentioned the detail? Well, just you can see all the detailing on both of the suits. They really put a lot of detail in it, in both of the suits alone. Like, it really adds to the effect of the effects when they're fighting. It really adds to it, especially like all the spikes that they have on Ebra. It looks, I don't know, like this thing, I don't know, since they don't really explain Ebra's origins in this movie at all, I can't really make a guess. I mean, I guess since they don't, I guess it's just there's just a giant lobster, like I don't know. I don't know, it's just like, the fact that when they don't explain a monster's origin, it's just kind of like, okay. I can't really make a guess on where Ebra might have come from. But anyways, like Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, overall, like, it has a good, like, 3 special effects pros where they really go, like, all out, like like they usually do. But the setting's on an island, so could not really say that much about this movie. But overall, I personally, besides like some points in the I mean, I know this is an effects series, but I do gotta mention like my own other thoughts about the film. It's like with some other few things with the human characters, it's with some things to make fun of. Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. It's like it's just got this old time campy fun, what's old time Godzilla that you can just sit and enjoy. Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, folks. This review, I'm sorry this is so short. Like, this review is super, super short because it's just like, there really wasn't very much to say about Godzilla vs. Sea Monster. And like I said, when a movie takes place on an island, it's like, you can't really say much. You can't really say much because there's not really that many effects going on. There's nothing much like special effects wise going on to even say anything, to even to even say much. Godzilla. No, for Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. Well, I can see it's. Well, I love on the poster. I don't know what the main red writing says, but I know like it's Godzilla, Ebra, and Mothra, and then you just got everything to the left of that. Can somebody in the comments tell me what that says? Like, seriously. Like, could somebody in the comments down there tell me what that means? Because I know Japanese titles are very different from American titles when it comes to this franchise. So, overall, I'm going to give Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, I'm giving this movie a good... I am giving this movie since there really wasn't that many effects, I'm gonna give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, 6.5 out of 10 this movie gets, because there really wasn't that many effects scenes in this film. And here we end it with the Dinosaur of the Month, Dilophosaurus, from Jurassic World the game, and this is actually what it looks like at level 40, which looks really cool, despite that horrible inaccuracy. Oh, the shame. Anyways, so yeah, those are my thoughts on the special effects of Godzilla vs. Sea Monster. Please like and subscribe to not only this channel, but the movie reviews library, and also Megas Dragon, who made the logo. He is a very good buddy of mine, so yeah, please support Megas Dragon's channel. Like I said, he's the one that made the logo at the beginning of this. Please subscribe to this channel and the movie reviews library. So this is Tim W. Leather Tachi 1996, and I'm going to say peace out, everybody. Hope till next week with the next Godzilla film in the franchise.